With the Loporits and Rianje's capable hands, we needn't worry about affairs here in our absence. Knowing now the face of their earthly collaborators, there is much to discuss with Alphino and the others. Let us return to the Tower of Babel. Our battle for the star will soon begin in earnest, and we must be prepared. Ishtola! She just... There is just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She just goes right to the source. No pun intended. Alright, so we're going to walk past the moon flans. Which... I think it was on my previous stream. I was talking about the conspiracy theorists one. It's so true, though. Oh, and it's the Nethergate. Of course it's the Nethergate. Why wouldn't it be the Nethergate? It wouldn't be the Happy-Go-Lucky Gate. No, it's got to be the Nethergate. I'd forgotten how cold it was here in Garlemald, a testament to the Loporits' ingenuity that I felt no such discomfort on the moon. Gods, I can scarcely believe we went to the moon and back. Right? But we'll have time to reflect on that later. Right now, we need to head back to Camp Broken Glass and deliver a thoroughly detailed report to Lucia. I'd like very much to know how everyone is getting on here as well. They'd only just begun to treat the tempered prisoners when we left. I share your curiosity, but warning our allies of the final days is of greater importance. I speak not only of the contingent, of course. The heads of state of every nation must know what we have learned. We know not when or where or in what manner the final days will begin to manifest, and so we must see that everyone is prepared. Agreed, though we may wish to stress the importance of discretion, lest the public be sent into a panic. Not that anyone in a position of responsibility should need to be told as much, but it bears repeating. Anyway, first things first, to Camp Broken Glass. So I should probably teleport to Camp Broken Glass. Winch is down this way. There it is. Ugh. And then we head to the main shack. The town center, if you will. Which, for a very cold climate, this is a very open-air building design. Like, this doesn't make any sense at all. Like, if you go to Russia, if you go to Sweden, if you go to Finland, if you go to Germany or England, you're not going to find too many buildings like this that are meeting places. But yeah. Sagenhaft, at last you are returned. You know, just spend a little time at the moon. Oh, I don't know if this is voice acting. How about this? I'm gonna voice act, and I apologize in advance if I talk over them. Fair? It's good to see you all again. No worse for your lunar adventure, I hope. How the hell did you know? We've done what we can for now, and believe me, we intend to tell you all about it. Okay. If you told me that you had just gone to the moon, and back, I don't think I'd be so nonchalant about that. I'd be like, bruh. Like, what? You just went to the moon? I wouldn't be so nonchalant about that. But before we do, might you tell us what's become of Garlemald in our absence? We succeeded in subduing the tempered inside the Tower of Babel. We took many alive, but combined with those who were already in our custody, the number requiring care has grown exponentially. The inclement conditions have made it difficult, if not impossible, to treat them all here, and so we have petitioned the aid of the allied nations. Some are, understandably, hesitant to proffer assistance, particularly those that were but recently subject to imperial occupation. That said, several others have agreed to grant them refuge for treatment. With the assistance of your fellow scions, we endeavor to see them safely transported and subsequently cured of their tempering. With all the tempered be relocated? No, not all. We have sufficient shelter to attend to those whose treatment has begun, and enough healers have volunteered to remain until their patients have recovered. Euless is one such patient, though he is not yet fit to receive visitors. Truth be told, it was a miracle he and those in his company were not harmed in the chaos. If not for Alphino and Alisae's timely assistance, I dare say none of them would be with us today. In light of recent developments, have the Alliance leaders come to any decisions regarding Garlemald? Given the tremendous ramifications of what has happened here, it will take time to determine what must be done. In the meantime, they intend to work with the Eastern Alliance to keep a close watch over the provinces. We have other news to share. Shortly after Anima was defeated, we received reports that each and every tower has vanished. For a mercy, the process was apparently not quite as violent as that you experienced in Thavnair. Those who were trapped within them have been rescued and are receiving treatment. To hasten this endeavor, the beast tribes have received instruction on the magics needed to cure tempering. Master Matoya is no doubt thrilled the Mother Porxia affords her so many visitors. Yes, we are grateful for her ongoing efforts, as well as those of our comrades near and far. As for the contingent, several of our members have been granted leave to return to their homelands after the transfer of Tempered has been completed. Lucia and I will remain, along with a small force to continue offering aid to those here in Garlemald. The Empire may be no more, but there are yet those who call these lands home. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to return. I believe that accounts for recent events here, so what of the Moon and the Telofroi? So yeah, those two are actually from Garlemald, defected to Eorzea and are now back, so they might end up being leaders of, new Garlemald. We met bunny people. Much like me, the Vera, but smaller and more bunny-like. The final days. Gods, I prayed your victory would mark the end of our troubles. There is still much we do not know, but the Alliance leaders must be told. Would you be willing to contact them in our stead? Yes, of course. I will send word forthwith. We'll also release your fellow Scions from their present duties, that they may return to Sharlayan. Your energies are better spent finding a means to avert the coming apocalypse. Speaking of your fellow Scions, you'll be happy to hear that Mistress Kryl, though still on the mend, has been moved to the Baldesion Annex and given into Tataru's care. Thank you. I look forward to seeing them both upon our return. Let us be on our way, then. One last thing, if I may. After your confrontation with Zodiark, you said Xenos took his leave, and in all likelihood he has returned here to Garlemald. I have a mind to dispatch scouts to try and ascertain his whereabouts, but first wish to ask if you believe there is merit in doing so. No, because he will kill them. Dead. Deader than dead. He will devour their souls as the actual Grim Reaper. Stay the F away from Xenos. If they found him, they would not likely live to tell the tale. If you're expecting a trail of destruction to follow, you won't find one. An admiral, but yeah, no. Definitely not. I suppose you're right. To dispatch good soldiers in pursuit of such a beast would be to send them to their deaths. Yes. Pray forget I entertained the notion. While on the subject of Xenos, the 10th Legion has made an official proclamation. They denounce the Crown Prince and condemn his role in the Empire's downfall. His very title has become a source of shame among his former subjects, and its continued use serves only to hinder relations with foreign nations. For this reason, he has been declared as Xenos Viator Galvus, outcast and enemy of Garlemald. Viator, perhaps, if it's pronounced exactly like in Latin. Fandaniel is no more, and now his own people turn against him. It seems he's not but his bloodlust to keep him company. Better that than an army to see it sated. At any rate, I will not keep you longer. I pray you safe passage back to Charlayan. Attend! Dismissed! So, speak with Cryle at the Baldezian Annex. Which... Old Charlayan. We can afford 749 gil, can't we now? And use the Ethernet to go right to the Baldezian Annex. Totaro. Oh, it's good to see you and free from chill. And free from chilblains, I take it. You'll be pleased to know everything's been kept in order since you've been away. I even brought a few useful knickknacks with me from back home. But no sooner had they arrived than I received word of Cryle in poor health. And you on the moon! If you meant to give me a fright, you succeeded. Welcome back, Sigenhaft. We were so terribly worried about you. Though it is plain I have caused my own fair share of worry, and for that, I apologize. Heidelin called to me that day when you entered the Tower of Babel. Her pleas were faint but desperate, and I knew at once she required a vessel to carry out her will. What came after feels like a dream barely remembered, my body flowing through the life stream toward Garlemald. When I regained consciousness, I was all aches and frostbite, exhausted of aether. So exhausted, in fact, I could only laugh, for it was in that moment I understood Raha's wariness from the Tower of Zot. Makes sense, because Raha, Grahatia, was literally in the first, literally keeping that tower afloat with his own aether. Nuts. Would that I could laugh at a time like this. Though we prevented Zodiark from being unleashed upon the world, I am curious to know what else took place there on the moon. We met the Loporits. Perhaps we should wait for the others to join us before you give your account. Let us reconvene in the main hall once they've arrived. Onward. Indeed. Now this is probably going to be voice acting, so... let's see. Let's see if my headset has... here's to hoping. All right. Sorry to have kept you all waiting. Not at all. We understand you've been quite busy. Will Uriandra be joining us? Duty keeps him away, I'm afraid, though Sagenhoff can explain why better than I. The final days as befell Amaro. And we are to escape via the moon? What of the source and its reflections? I have no intention of standing by while the world falls to ruin. So how do we stop this? Unfortunately, we have no answers at present. If the celestial currents have grown stagnant, as was the case in the time of Amaro, The solution would be to alter the flow of aether throughout the entirety of the star. The ancients accomplished this by summoning Zodiarch, sacrificing half the star's population in the doing. But it should go without saying that such a sacrifice must not, and cannot be repeated. Which leaves us with the daunting task of identifying the underlying catalyst for the final days, a feat which even the Amarotines could not accomplish. Unfortunately, we found no clues in Mare Lamentorum. There is still much we do not know about the catastrophe itself, let alone what may have caused it. The final days were marked by the corruption of the Amarotines' creation magics, but we command no such power, which invites the question, what havoc is in store for us? If we knew that much, perhaps we could draw some parallel with the events of the past, and thereby form some semblance of a plan. Perhaps we should start with the Forum. Having worked with the Loperids in secret all this time, there is surely more they can tell us. Forgive the interruption, but I've urgent news. The Forum is holding a public assembly in the plaza outside. Some sort of announcement. What is Father up to now? There's only one way to find out. Yosh!
Order, order, I say.
Ha! That worked! When has that ever worked?
I thank you all for gathering here on such short notice. This day we must speak of grave affairs and their implications for the future of Sharlayan, nay, of this very star. Said affairs concern all citizens, and so we have called for a public assembly.
And as part of this public assembly, I would be remiss if I did not say thank you to those who have recently followed. So, Pilgrim, West Virginia, I'm assuming, thank you. Also for being active in the chat. Greater Hayati, thank you as well. Kingslayer0501, thank you. Rydank, thank you. And Snizzy23, thank you. I don't believe I gave you guys the proper thanks. I am following back. I know that's not the point of all this, but if I can ever pay it forward, I absolutely will.
You may have heard rumors of the Telophoroi and the havoc these madmen wreak abroad.
Indeed.
Under normal circumstances, we would pay little heed to petty disturbances outside our borders. The final days, however, are another matter altogether.
Oh, so they do take it serious.
For we dare not ignore these prophetic words of Eld. The Endbearers will come, ushering chaos and calamity. The final days descend and devour the very star.
I've never heard this prophecy.
Is it true? Will all that really happen?
Calm yourselves. The time has come to speak of the Forum's most sacred duties.
Give voice to the voiceless. Let bindings be unbound. By unanimous decree, I declare the enchantment broken.
Master Le Veilleur, if you would.
Very well. "270 years ago, our forebears began an expedition in the Dravanian hinterlands, in search of a route to access the ethereal sea. This much is public knowledge. Their findings, however, would become the Forum's most closely guarded secret. What those researchers discovered in the hinterlands was not a passage unto the ethereal sea, but the very heart of our star, and Hydaelyn herself."
Say what? Oh. Okay. So Hydaelyn is
She
the
spoke
planet?
to them of a calamity that would extinguish all life, and of a means by which we might be spared. The moon. 'Tis in truth a gargantuan vessel built to serve as sanctuary for her children and deliver them from this doom.
Which is funny because the moon conspiracy theorists were right.
Much like Nunkref's hope in ages past, it will bear the people of a world in the throes of death to a new home.
Needless to say, this will be no small undertaking. To facilitate the great work, the Forum has maintained close contact with the servants of Hydaelyn, who presently reside on the moon. Convinced that the foretold end was all but inevitable, we began amassing a wealth of knowledge, not merely for the betterment of our nation, but in preparation for the journey to come.
You reveal this to us now? By the gods, how long do we have?
Ha! That's a good question.
While we cannot say with certainty, we believe the hour to be nigh. We received a transmission from the moon suggesting as much not long ago. Which is why we must in earnest begin preparations for the great exodus. For his impressive contributions and the leadership he demonstrated during our withdrawal from Dravania, we have elected Master Le Veilleur to oversee this initiative.
Fellow scribes and scholars, my countrymen, we face a threat of unprecedented scale. We must challenge the trials before us with composure and conviction if we are to find salvation. The wisdom of Sharlayan has ever been a shining beacon in the darkness, and so it shall continue to be.
Click. Click.
It is our solemn charge to see our heritage preserved for future generations. For those who will come after, we will brave a new frontier.
Administrative edicts will be relayed to all major institutions ere long. In the meantime, carry on with your duties. With that, I hereby call this assembly to a close.
The world's coming to an end. Get back to work. Gotta love it. The world is coming to an end. Get back to work. That's just... Oh, man. And they do. It's kind of like us. Inflation, union busting.
Do you remember what Mother told us when we visited home? That it wasn't until after we were born that Father seemed to lose himself in his work. If that great work of his was the evacuation of this star, then...
Yes. It wasn't for his benefit. Would you mind waiting here a moment? I wish to speak with Father before we leave.
Fair. Take your time.
Thank you. I shan't be long.
Sorry, I keep
If
moving
it's all
around.
the same to you, I have a few choice words to share with Father as well.
Sorry, I keep moving around a lot. This is the first time I've actually been streaming when it's this dark, so this whole lighting setup is not doing what it normally does.
So, come to call us cowards and bid us join your fruitless battle against the inevitable.
Nay, we do not object to the Forum's proposal. On the contrary, those who wish to flee have every right to do so. Urianger is cooperating with your associates on the moon to ensure that all is ready should evacuation be our only recourse.
Then whatever your business, I suggest you be brief.
What a dick! What? Why are you being like this to your children?
Though we cannot boast the boundless wisdom of Charlian, we have first-hand knowledge of foreign cultures and have conversed with no small number of peoples. These experiences have taught us fundamental truths that cannot be recorded in any tome nor charted on any map. The beating heart of this planet is its people, many of whom would give anything, even their lives, to protect the lands they love. Many may choose to join you in the end. But what of those unwilling or unable, for whom escape will never be an option? What would you have them do?
Valid.
To ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, Father. It is indolence.
That quote keeps coming up. And it's true.
This is why we choose to fight.
Indeed.
We'll not ask for your understanding, Father. Only that you don't turn a blind eye to the good we have done. That we can still do. We're not children in need of protection. Hold fast to your principles and let the world burn if it please. But we believe there is still another way.
She's feisty.
And if there is, we will find it. You see if we don't.
This is exactly why I like Alice too. Her growth as a character has been incredible. Like, I get it, before, in the earlier expansions, she was kind of annoying or whatever, just kind of a side character, Alpha No's sister, not really important, right? But I think ever since Shadowbringers, and maybe I'm biased because that's when I actually started playing, Alice has been pretty badass, and by the end of Shadowbringers, when you get to play her, she devastates enemies left and right. And now, look at her. Good for her.
Do as you will. Just stay out of our way.
Father of the Year, you are not, my guy. Can't admit you're wrong, can't praise your children for doing what they think is right. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? I will beat the shit out
Were
of
he
him.
not so consumed with self-righteousness, he might tell you how proud he is of you both.
That's right. You tell them, Ashtola.
Bold words call for bold action. And there'll be no turning to your father should plans go awry.
Indeed.
As if I ever would. So long as there are those who wish to stay and fight for this star, we have to do what we can to help them.
True that.
And if we're to do that, we'll need to be well rested.
Indeed.
Wouldn't you agree? And having triumphed over what we once thought to be the source of all evil, I can think of no one in greater need of at least a dozen winks.
At least. I mean, literally, though, first shift, 8-hour days, 5 days a week, sucks.
Shall we then? To the annex. To prepare for tomorrow.
Till tomorrow. Alright, we're gonna wrap this quest up. And then... Hold on a second. Oh, nope, never mind. We got time for one more quest. I'm pretty sure. Kryl tells me the Forum made a rather momentous announcement. So there's to be a great exodus, is there? I'm reminded of my narrow escape from the Isle of Val. The realization, the running, the mixture of relief and regret after... Why me? I ask myself. Why me? Why us? Why now? Why wonder? There's no use fretting over the cosmic morality or lack thereof. We're here and we'll get through this together. And who knows, maybe my luck will rub off and grant everyone a narrow escape. There's no harm in praying for as much. Oh, but enough of my rambling. I'm sure you're exhausted. Your chamber awaits. Another party in my bedroom. A visitor has come knocking at your door. Whoever could it be? Alice. I think they've been building up that Alice has a crush on the Warrior of Light for a while now. Unless saying the name magically makes that person appear. In which case... It is! Unless, again...
Craving a midnight snack, were you? I did consider bringing a few sweets, but decided this wasn't an appropriate occasion. I couldn't sleep. Had a few things on my mind. I know it's late, so I'll try not to talk your ear off.
It's okay,
It's
kiddo.
Xenos. I keep thinking back to Garlemald when he'd taken control of your body.
Oh, yeah.
An altogether terrifying experience, to say the least. And one that served as a harsh reminder. No one, no matter how strong or quick or clever, is invincible. Not even you.
That's where you're wrong, bucko. I am invincible, because I am the player character. If I die, the story ends.
And as much as it might seem at times that you are, one misstep, one mistake, and that's that.
It's okay. I got you right here, kid.
Which is why, even though I know you've heard it 1,000 times before, I'm going to tell you to take better care of yourself. Because you really, really should.
Listen, if it wasn't for this economy, I wouldn't wake up at 5 a.m.
It goes without saying that we're all committed to this fight. But that doesn't mean that we need to throw our lives away. You know how I feel about noble sacrifices.
Noble sacrifices.
Right, that's settled. We'll be keeping the acts of gratuitous bravado to a minimum.
Wrong. I'm a tank.
When I looked father in the eye and swore we'd find a way to avert this tragedy,
Yeah.
it wasn't a promise just for him. It was a promise for you, too.
It's alright. We got this. A short while earlier in the Alamegan Quarter.
Thank the gods that tower is gone. The sight of it was enough to make me sick.
Thank the Ilsabar contingent, more like. Word is, they fought their way into Garlemald and toppled the bloody thing themselves. Not just the one, neither. All the towers have up and vanished.
Aye, I heard the same. Commander Aldin and his troops helped keep casualties to a minimum too.
Like a boss.
But is it true? They brought back tempered Garlean soldiers.
Yeah.
As Commander Aldin tells it, they've a treatment for that now. But don't you worry. Cured or not, they've no plans to bring them into the city proper.
I see. Well, that's a relief then. I know we've brothers and sisters among the lot, but I can't say I'm eager to welcome them home.
That is an awesome fit, by the way. I want it. Reminds me of Ishtolas.
Wanted to think about it for a while yet. They're to be looked after in Alagana for the time being.
Oh, a detractor? Oh no! Don't tell me that's Van Daniel. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Meanwhile in Ishgard.
Another day, another commission of paramount importance.
Such is the life.
Well, what have we here?
Oh no, tempered.
Hey, are you all right?
Oh, so it's not.
That? No. The shadows play tricks, nothing more.
Well, at least it's not Van Daniel. That's good, at least.
The towers are gone, and the Garlean threat is abated. And yet,
And yet.
why does it feel as though it's about to get much, much worse?
Because I'm only level 85, and I believe the quests have only made it to level 85, and we gotta get to 90. Which is a question. What is gonna happen next? The end of the world? Okay. But what's the big bad? What's the enemy? What do we fight? What do we do to stop it?